to deal with, let me give you an example, judiciary. Some people believe that judiciary independence means only judges or a separate act to deal with anti-corruption, not the Lokpal. Well, I don't understand why the quibble is, why it's not under the same Lokpal. Yes, if the government has nothing at all to deal with citizens' grievance, if the government has nothing at all to deal with anti-corruption of judges,
yes,
or with Class C, I can understand you are right. But if the government provides a very strong, appropriate, but not under the Lokpal mechanism, I see the futility of the entire argument.
Okay. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, it's an interesting argument. Perhaps I think that you should discuss the matter personally with Anna Hazare and see if you'll be able to convince him. We'll leave it at that. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, thank you very much for joining me on News Hour Direct tonight. Thank you.
On the News Hour tonight, does it make sense to include the entire lower bureaucracy, even if it means a massive team to process the complaints?
Responses to the Samsonite step-out question of the week. 65% respondents believe that the opposition is being too rigid as Parliament is frozen, while 35% disagree.
Samsonite presents the News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
This show presented by Samsonite. In association with Berger Weathercoat All Guard, reverse the effect of rain with silicone. Indigo, welcome abroad. Sparks, add sparks to your life.
Step out with Samsonite.
Long distance ka pyar pyar ya fir dil takrar to kisi na ho izhar to se karo ikrar.
Enjoy finger talking with a wide range of smartphones from Sony Ericsson, now on Airtel 3G.
The iPhone 4S has an all-new camera with 8 megapixels and advanced optics. So it lets you capture stunning photos. And because it's an iPhone, you can do things you never imagined possible with a camera. So maybe the only camera you need is the one on the most amazing iPhone yet.
Zapper style. Zapper grip. Ride with me. Zapper speed.
MRF 90 Crib Zapper. Zap them all.
We're here to be the model of the modern global airline. An ambitious mission we remind ourselves of all the time. Flying more than ever with a flock of new planes in our fleet. You'll be greeted once you're seated by many captains just like me.
On your journey, terror in the air will handle every hassle. Great with kids and seniors to tourists and multinational. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. We will remind ourselves now one more time with each and every single flight. We're here to be the model of a modern global airline. Every time we fly, we will ensure that you will have your touch.
On the News Hour tonight, join Vidya Balan and Ekta Kapoor as they talk about their massive hit, The Dirty Picture.
Samsonite presents the News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
A deeply upset Team Anna and Anna Hazare himself is once again hit out at the standing committee questioning the government's intent after the reported U-turn over the inclusion of the lower bureaucracy in the bill. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was here on the News Hour, he said it cannot be my way or the highway, so the fight for Lokpal is back to square one. Is it really my way or the highway? Is that the way Anna Hazare and his team are looking at it? Is it fair to make that observation? Shekhar Singh, one of the senior-most members of the NCPRI, is also joined tonight by Hartosh Singh Bal, political editor of The Open magazine, Medha Patkar, well-known social activist, member of Team Anna, Shazia Ilmi, who's a member of Team Anna. Thank you very much. Okay. May I begin by asking you, Shekhar Singh, have you been reading these media reports over the last couple of days that the government first decided to put everyone under the Lokpal, Group C and D, and then something happened on Wednesday? We don't know what happened. There was a meeting of the core committee, then there was another meeting of the standing committee at which they decided, no, that we won't include Group C under the bill. I mean, what in your view is going on here?
Well, I don't know what's going on, but actually it started even worse because the first report that we got was that Group C and D would be under nobody and only Group A and B would be covered. So that alarmed us. Then we got the report that Group C and D is being merged into one, Group C, and that this will be under the Lokpal without any details. So that also alarmed us because we wondered now how are these 60 lakh people are going to be looked after by one institution. Now we hear that the CVC is going to look after Group C. Now, in what way is the CVC going to look after it? If you're going to have 57 lakh people being looked after by the CVC, then what's the difference between that and putting them all under the Lokpal? We had suggested an alternate method where we had said that, look, let the Lokpal be the review mechanism for Group C and let complaints against Group C be put into the local police. Doesn't matter if it's a central government or state government, and let a review of that, if the local police doesn't act or doesn't accept your complaint, rest with state level, not just Lokpal but Lokayukt, so that the Lokpal would be restricted to the centrally administered areas and the Lokayukt would come in. Now the advantage of that was that you would have 29 Lokayukts and Lokpals plus 33 state police departments looking at the totality rather than one institution. We don't know what the committee is thinking and how the CVC is going to handle this on its own.
No, so this present ambit, Hartosh Singh Bal, in your view, is the government going back on the promise it made on the floor of Parliament? Because at that point of time, Pranab Mukherjee, when he adopted the sense of the House, he assured about bringing lower bureaucracy under the Lokpal through an appropriate mechanism. Abhishek Manu Singhvi says, we can't quibble. Team Anna can't quibble over what is an appropriate mechanism. We said appropriate mechanism. In your view, is this quibbling?
Well, Arnab, first of all, I think it was clear to a lot of people who were dispassionately watching it that there was some discussion and some reason to look at a separate mechanism as Shekhar has suggested. I'm more in agreement with what Shekhar is saying than what the Jan Lokpal proposes, that Group and C and D have to be dealt with differently. Corruption is important, but one shoe fits all. That method is highly problematic apart from the centralization and the bureaucracy we create. So I'm glad that Group C and D are being looked at differently. Now the way the standing committee has gone about it, I think there's a problem there. Two issues. One is that a standing committee cannot work with daily media scrutiny. Laws have to be dealt with in some detail and discussed. If we are going to have media reports every day on what is happening,
no, why blame the media?
There's a problem with
no, why blame the media, Hartosh? Sorry, why blame the media? The fact is there was indecision. Till Friday they wanted something else, then they had a meeting, then core committee met, then Pranab Mukherjee met Dr. Singhvi. So it's not the media didn't report anything
Let me finish what I'm saying, Arnab. I'm not blaming the media. That these reports are appearing in the media is a problem of the standing committee, not of the media.
Yes.
The second thing is that if Abhishek Manu Singhvi today turns around and says that till Wednesday a body debating on corruption in the bureaucracy did not know what Group C stands for, I find that ridiculous.
That's the point.
What were these people doing all this for?
That's the point. Now, but however, having said that, Medha Patkar, if the standing committee rejects, you have to at some point of time accept this to be the will of Parliament. My question to you tonight is, Medha Patkar, if Parliament rejects including Group C under the Lokpal? That's my next news hour question tonight. Should your team not accept it as the will of the House? You'll have to respect it. It's the will of the House, it's the will of the Standing Committee. You'll have to respect it, or will you again go to the streets?
See, on the one hand, there is a will of crores of people in this country who wants the corruption to be mitigated, and that they feel for sure because they have an experience of the police mechanism to the all CBI, CVC, CAG. Myself, I can give you a number of examples of the Narmada corruption that we ultimately exposed ourselves. But it is very clear that on the other hand, there is no political will. There is no political will to even have a genuine and decisive dialogue, even with the agitationists who would always confront, who would always assert that their proposal should be accepted. Satyagraha, there is an agraha always in it. So there is no way we would like to underestimate or reject the role of the parliament. At the same time, the role of the people is to continue to really, bang at their doors, and that is non-violent way. And here we feel that unless there is an independent and comprehensive mechanism, a kind of Lokpal authority,
how is it?
In which this lower bureaucracy is included, but with the appropriate level structures, not just one.
No, Beda Patkar, Abhishek Manu Singhvi just said. Abhishek Singhvi just said. I don't know if you heard him. He said everyone. He made it appear that almost everyone except drivers and peons are going to be anyway under the ambit of the Lokpal, as per their recommendations.
No, I don't know. I think they are confused or we are confused. But there are different proposals which have come from Congress, and we were working on those. I myself had heard those clearly, and that was to include the bureaucracy, and I believe that the Prime Minister office played the role. I think this is an insult of the parliamentary process itself.
No, they have used the words.
Even if we respect the Standing Committee, do they respect the kind of procedure which the Constitution and the rules expect the Standing Committee to follow?
Here's a question. Shazia, is it not possible that the problem is one of interpretation? Please, just hear me on this. Is it not possible? Because, on the Congress side, you have some very eminent lawyers. The chairman of the Standing Committee is himself a lawyer. That, therefore, is the problem of interpretation. Let me take the word of what Pranab Mukherjee said in the House. He said, the House agrees in principle, important, in principle, that the Citizen Charter lower bureaucracy will be brought under Lokpal through appropriate mechanism. Now they are saying, A, we agree in principle. B, we agree through appropriate mechanism. No. What are you saying, Ms. Patkar?
He had promised, I have this here, brought under Lokpal.
Yeah,
so
but through appropriate mechanism.
Now they are saying let it go through CVC, let it go to another mechanism which would not be independent and which would not be linked with the other subsystems within this anti-corruption system as per the United Nations.
What they are saying is, okay, let me get in Shazid. What they are saying is, your interpretation is not exactly what is the right interpretation.
Then even media is interpreting.
Arnab, is not a matter of interpretation. Mr. Singhvi is a lawyer and a very good lawyer at that. Let me make it very clear, it's just not section officers and subsection officers. The local Havaldar and the inspector is a Group C officer. So what the government draft would have us believe is that if you check the corruption of the commissioner, of the IG, DIG, and you can exclude the corruption of Havaldar, beat constable and inspector, it's a good redressal of the complaints. I mean, what kind of logic is that? If you look at Tehsil level, Thana level, Manrega, if you look at RTO, income and sales, if you look at junior engineer in a PWD department, they all are Group C officers. So I think there's a complete disconnect with reality. I really think there's a huge problem in the understanding of our body politic and how the system works.
But Shazia, that's also...
And as for CVC, okay, you want to appropriate mechanism, we can buy that. Don't do it.
No, Shazia,
We'll buy that.
No, one minute.
Have a better system, but taking to CVC, do you know what that means? It's like the person, where do I address my corruption? I don't know whether the person who has committed an act of graft, because of which I'm suffering, is a Group A officer, Group B officer, or a Group C. So I go to Lokpal, I'm told to go to CBI. CBI says, no, this is Group C officer, so I go to CVC. CVC says, no, but we are not a police authority, we are just an executive authority, we don't have any powers whatsoever, so please go to local police.
No,
I don't. Draft of 57 lakh employees.
No, yes,
You're leaving those
Shazia,
people at the mercy of the local police.
1 minute, no,
and
Shazia.
we all know how local police...
1 minute, let me get a Shekhar Singh. No, because
so what kind of system is that? Is that appropriate?
Let me get a Shekhar Singh, because let him respond to it, because I have with me what Shekhar Singh has said before the standing committee. Though I must preface this by saying today that I think everyone in the standing committee has said everything that has come out in the media is pretty much, cannot be taken at face value, is possibly junk. Shekhar Singh said before the standing committee, making the argument, let him hear what his response is. Like, he says, we want an interlocking responsibility so that pressure builds up on the state governments to make sure they do their job and everything does not come to this independent body. He's talking about interlocking. Can you explain that, Shekhar Singh, so that, 1 minute. Let Shekhar Singh explain that and I come back to you, Medha Patkar and Shazia. Yes, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, you see, there are two issues here. It's not just the issue of 57 lakhs and the fact that the country cannot be managed by a centralized institution. There's also the point that we have an elected parliament, an elected legislative assembly and elected governments. You cannot totally bypass these elected governments in the process of investigation and prosecution of corruption. Now, we agree that at higher levels there is too much of conflict of interest, so we've said, fine, let's have an independent Lokpal, which doesn't work under the control of any of these bodies. But surely the bulk of the clerks, the bulk of the constables and the havildars don't have the sort of clout that they can make chief ministers and ministers dance to their particular dictum. Nevertheless, we've said, let the first complaint be with the local police. Now, suppose the police refuses to accept the complaint. Then you can go and appeal to a district level Lokayukt body. The question that was raised is the man will run around wondering where. No, we feel in our system there should be a single window. And it should be like in the RTI Act, as you know, you file an RTI application anywhere. If that particular office is not the office which deals with it, they are obliged within a certain time frame to transfer it to the relevant office. That system works in RTI, the same system can work for this.
Why
so
not?
Let there be a single window approach. I don't have to worry.
Why not? What's the problem, Medha Patkar?
Let there be a single window approach. So if you're putting the 57 lakh employees, central government for Lokpal, and for Lokayukt state employees 5 to 7 lakhs in every state, then have the single point window for even A and B officers. What's the problem? From 57, it's easier to add 3 lakhs to 57 than add 57 to 3 by the same logic.
No, there is a question. Medha Patkar.
Why have duplicity of agencies?
No, is this duplicity of agencies, or is it a practical suggestion to strengthen the CVC, strengthen the CVC Act? Is it a more logical thing to do? One, Medha Patkar.
As of now, we have an all-powerful CBI with all the powers and no independence.
Medha
We have
Patkar.
an independent CVC and no powers. Now you want to bring a Lokpal to add confusion to the rank.
No, Medha Patkar.
All we are saying is have a single nodal point, have an anti-corruption agency or a staff, create a system in place. If you need to recruit officers, recruit officers. Nobody is saying that 9-member bench will have to look at complaints of graft against all 57 lakh employees.
How many? I'm only
saying all of them are corrupt.
I'm only playing devil's advocate, and as I wait for Medha Patkar's response, I'm only going to make one more point, Medha Patkar. The idea of a Lokpal, you will agree, when you were fighting for it in August, was to ensure a speedy prosecution of corrupt officers. Won't this objective be defeated if such a large number of officers are brought under the functioning of the Lokpal? I mean, should there be a realistic assessment of the functioning capability of the Lokpal? Medha Patkar.
You see, only the corruption part of the grievances would come under the Lokpal system. Again, I call it as a Lokpal system or a Lokpal authority, in order to remove the misunderstanding that as if it is one single committee. So even for the grievance redressal, when there will be a department's charter, there will be a departmental officer, but if their redressal is not possible and not coming through, then it is equated with corruption, and then it comes under the judicial officers or whatever system that the Lokpal authority would have. But there again, it will be as many number of officials who would deal with the lower level corruption. It will not that everything will reach there. Like in the income tax department also, the lower level income tax problems and complaints are dealt with the junior officers, and it goes to the higher ups only when it is not resolved at that level. I think that multi-layered system needs to be understood, and the only difference is that you start with the grievance redressal officer in the department, but if there is no redressal, you treat it with the other corruption complaints. I think there it comes specifically under the independent authority, and therefore the more possibility of investigation to penalties. In the government bill, there are no penalties.
No, ma'am, we are now.
Proper search committee. There is no
okay, now if this is you agree today that this is the main point of contention. You agree today, Medha Patkar, that this is Medha and Shazia. You both agree this is the main point of contention today. Low bureaucracy.
It is a main point of contention, and there are number of points on which we have more or less consensus with the NCPRI. I am just a member of the core committee, but the drafting people also confirm this, because the dialogue with the NCPRI is very, very important. We value Shekhar Singh ji as our friend and
my question tonight is...
it is therefore necessary.
The question is at two levels.
No, I am saying that lower bureaucracy is one of the...
No, I tell you.
One question.
No, one minute. My question tonight is this.
Non-inclusion of lower bureaucracy, this is against public interest. Forget about Team Anna, take us out of the equation.
1 minute,
Go out there and ask people as to what they think.
Shazia, here's
it is not a matter of my way or highway. This sounds very good.
I don't have an instant survey meter that I can ask people on news. I can't. I mean, I'm only trying to assess views. My simple question is tonight at a very broader level. People are hearing this debate tonight, and people are saying that, you know, two things. One is that if this is one of the biggest issues, are these differences which exist today, tonight, in fact, as of the night of 2nd of December 2011, are these differences big enough for Anna Hazare to go on another fast 25 days from now? That is a point, a moot point. Hartosh.
I don't think...
no,
1 minute.
Arnab,
let's get the other
if I may come in here. Arnab, from what I've been hearing, nobody disagrees that there should be monitoring of corruption by Group C and Group D officials. The question is how. We still don't know the mechanism the Standing Committee proposes. So much of this argument is semantics, but what I can hear in the voices of people who push for the Lokpal bill is this my way or the highway. It is as if anything that differs from their proposal is not acceptable. It is as if the rest of us who are looking at this closely, criticizing the government and criticizing them, don't have the public interest in mind, do not have a right to voice our opinions, do not have a right to propose mechanisms. This is really the issue at hand with how these people are dealing with this issue. And yes, we will see another tamasha outside. Anna Hazare will again make his demands without anybody else getting their voice in.
I heard Abhishek Manu Singhvi just talk about CVC. And I gave you examples and reasons as to why it's unworkable.
So why don't you wait for 2 days and look at the reaction on the actual bill?
Hartosh, okay, if you think a solution is bad, throw it out, get a solution, but do address it.
No, Shazia, I want to be very direct about it tonight. The basic argument being put from the other side is that, and Medha Patkar ji, with all respect, basically the argument being put on the other side is Team Anna looking for small reasons to continue this fight and take it to the next level. Shazia, 1 minute. Here the other side. This is other point of view. We have to put all points of view tonight. Yes, Medha ji. Your response to Hartosh?
I think, Arnab, that in any people's movement, we have to be consistent and persistent. If there is no compromise done by the movement, with all humility at our command, we would say that it is a satyagraha. And if the government takes a decision to build a dam and we feel that that dam is not safe, that dam is going to create a big loss against the benefits that would go to some other section, we continue to fight. Although the government's decision is at one level respected because we don't go and immediately attack them or we don't even attack the dam. But at the same time, we continue to say that what we feel is this, and we continue to mobilize and we continue to be in mass action. It is the same way. We feel the bill is weak. We feel the particular bill will not resolve the problem, and especially the crux of the problem, which affects the Dalits, the toiling masses, the common people up to middle classes. And hence, while we are worried about the spectrum, we are worried about land, we are worried about PDS rationing, we are worried about education related and health related corruption. So in order to deal with that, we need to be in the corruption related system with our complaints at some point of time. And we should be assured that that will be dealt with. That's all. But CVC is no solution.
Shekhar Singh,
however you
CVC, your proposal is no solution. A, your quick response to that. But B, what would you say to Team Anna? Because we seem to be hurtling.
Arnab, you better call us core committee members.
Core committee members, okay, that's okay. I correct myself. You know, it's so often referred to as Team Anna, so that core committee members. What is your response to the core committee members of Team Anna? What is your response to the core committee members of Team Anna? Yes.
Yeah, we are with them totally on the assumption that Group C and Group D, if there is a Group D, must be effectively covered. And that the only difference between them and us is that they feel the original jurisdiction should be with an independent body. We are saying that there should be a review jurisdiction with an independent body, primarily for two reasons that I mentioned. One was the logistics, handling the numbers, and the second was that we don't want to totally marginalize and bypass elected governments, legislative assemblies and parliament. But I'd just like to say one point further here. See, there are differences of opinion and differences of principle.
Yes.
I think where there is a difference of principle, one has to fight, even if the majority is against one. And if these categories of staff are not covered, then I think it's a matter of principle and we will fight with them. But if this category of staff is covered in a manner that is of a different type to what I want, then I think the will of Parliament should prevail, because that is a difference of opinion. And I cannot insist that my opinion, even if I have a crore of people behind me, which I don't, must supersede the opinion of the Parliament.
Hartosh?
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's
I
not
really can't add to that. But I think, see, what is happening here, Arnab, if I may finish my point, is that today we are watching this debate on Group C and D. We might come to a solution tomorrow. And I think actually there's a far more important point. What happens to the PM? I think the PM should be under this bill. Tomorrow the debate will shift there. So, I mean, we should be clear what the sticking points and iron them out once and for all. Are we going to keep shifting the goalpost every day and say this is important, this is not?
Well, the goalposts have not really been shifted. There were three contentious issues.
Yes, Medha Patkar shifting the goalposts.
Appointment of Lokayuktas through the same bill.
I think, Arnab,
as well as inclusion of lower bureaucracy.
Don't take this.
And lower bureaucracy,
this particular phase
is extremely important. If the mechanism you suggest is done with a very good intention, but is actually not addressing the issue, then what right? I mean, what alternate do you give us but to protest?
Shazia,
just because you keep saying again and again, and some of you have taken a position against us and are misgivings about Anna and his methods, does not mean that we will, you know, not complain when we have to and raise a voice and protest.
Everybody can. The question is only tonight, it's a question of perspective of shifting the goalposts. Last response, Medha Patkar, since the charge has been made that you're constantly shifting the goalposts to keep the movement alive. Your response?
No, not at all. We are again very humbly asking for the same bill to be pushed, and we are pushing it, no doubt, and that's because many of us genuinely feel that that little radical stance through the Jan Lokpal kind of draft, which includes a detailed process, which respects judiciary, which is perfectly constitutional, but which will be more people-oriented.
Yes.
And there can be certain more additions about the processes that I will come to if there is time. That is not ruling out the role that the Parliament is playing. But here what has come before us is being challenged. And this is not coming to us through the population of India, through a right kind of decision-making process of the parliamentarians. Mind you, we have also seen number of standing committees and the petition committees, but we have never seen this kind of a complete U-turn. What is happening? Is the UPA wanting to commit suicide? We don't want them to do that. We want them to really sit together even today and thrash out the issues, and that's why we are also giving importance to the interim report. We are giving importance to the whatever comes out of them. Because if we keep quiet, we would be doing an historical injustice to the people. And hence, I know that it will go to the parliament, but let there be a debate at this stage also. Not a debate of the kind which Abhishek Manu Singhvi has led, with the, the distant, the control, the remote control being in some other hand, not within the standing committee and not with the standing committee chairman. I know there are difference of opinion, let them come out transparently or resolve those and then approach. I think even Anna ji has not declared a long-term fast. I hope he doesn't declare that. There is going to be a core committee meeting which should thrash out the strategies thoroughly. I have also insistence on that. But after that, whatever comes out, we would always be for debate.
Okay.
Before 11th of December, after 11th of December, and let this all things be treated
so no fast,
as an insistence for debate.
Yeah, no fast announced yet. We are closely following the story. And we'll encourage debate at every possible level. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for that. Thank you.
On the news are tonight. Join Vidya Balan and Ekta Kapoor as they talk about their massive hit, The Dirty Picture.
Samsonite presents The News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
Why go back to sleep when you've just woken up? India's perkiest, most energetic morning news show that gets you fully updated. Simply across the country to the rest of the world in 1 hour. With the morning show, weekdays 8 to 9 a.m. only on Times Now.
Girl, take my hand, lead me to that place we know.
Moods Condoms. Your time, your place, your moods.
Step out with Samsonite. The model of the modern global airline. An ambitious mission we remind ourselves of all the time. Flying more than ever with a flock of new planes in our fleet. You'll be greeted once you're seated by many captains just like me.
On your journey there up in the air, we'll handle every hassle. Great with kids and seniors to tourists and multinational. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. Our service is so popular, we're flying international.
Remind ourselves now one more time with each and every single flight. We're here to be the model of a modern global airline. Every time we fly, we will ensure that you will have your touch.
Long distance ka pyar pyar.
या फिर little तकरार, तो किसी ना हो इज़हार, तो text से करो इकरार.
Enjoy finger talking with a wide range of smartphones from Sony Ericsson. Now on Airtel 3G.
In June 2009, they told me I had breast cancer. I don't know where I got my strength from. Maybe from the wonderful doctors. But today, I am cancer-free. Hope is real. As real as the rain.
I want to see the chef, please. This is the best Chinese I've ever had.
If it's Chinese, it's mainland China.
I remember feeling sick every morning. I remember hearing a strange word, leukemia.
In association with Berger Weather Coat All Guard, reverse the effect of rain with silicone. Indigo, welcome abroad. Sparks, add sparks to your life.
Step out with Samsonite. We're here to be the model of the modern global airline. An ambitious mission we remind ourselves of all the time. Flying more than ever with a flock of new planes in our fleet. You'll be greeted once you're seated by many captains just like me.
On your journey there up in the air, we'll handle every hassle. Great with kids and seniors to tourists and multinational. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. Our service is so popular, we're flying international. We will remind ourselves now one more time with each and every single flight. We're here to be the model of a modern global airline. Every time we fly, we will ensure that you will have your touch. Long distance का प्यार प्यार या फिर little तकरार जो किसी ना हो इज़हार तो text से करो इकरार.
Enjoy finger talking with a wide range of smartphones from Sony Ericsson. Now on Airtel 3G.
Her eyes were full of dreams about studying abroad. But dreams are realized only when they get a direction.
What tests do I need to clear?
I've understood her aspirations, assessed her talents, and today I'm giving wings to her dreams.
Thank you, EGE.
After all, we have to fulfill our responsibility towards the people we care for. EGE, Global Education Guidance. We get you there.
Hey, I'm here.
Reception? We're checking out. Finally, home.
It's good to be back.
Kohler bathrooms, so stylish and beautiful you can't stay away from them.
On the news hour tonight, if Anna goes on another fast against specific provisions of the government draft, will it be as effective?
Samsonite presents the News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
And to debate that, Shazia Ilmi, member of Team Anna, is also joined in the studios in Mumbai tonight by Mayank Gandhi, Mumbai spokesperson of India Against Corruption, Aman Lekhi, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, who feels Anna has not just overstepped and should not have issued this threat, is also joined tonight by Kumar Ketkar, who's agreed to stay on for this debate. Now, once again, Anna Hazare has trained his guns at the UPA, angry with the latest version of the Lokpal draft. He has once again accused the government of betrayal, threatening to go on another fast in the last week of December if a robust Lokpal bill is not passed by the end of this winter session.
रिपोर्ट को जब देखा तो ये महसूस हुआ कि फिर से जनता के साथ धोखाधड़ी इन लोगों ने शुरू की है। सरकार ने धोखाधड़ी किया।
Anna Hazare has sounded the war cry once again. Visibly unhappy with the current Lokpal draft that has been drafted by the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Threatening to agitate again.
अभी फिर से हमें आंदोलन करना पड़ेगा, ऐसा हमें लग रहा है। ये अन्ना हजारे की आवाज नहीं है, ये अन्ना हजारे टीम की आवाज नहीं है। अगर सरकार ये जनता की आवाज नहीं सुनती है तो फिर उसका नतीजा भी उनको भोगना पड़ेगा।
The Gandhian also vowed to extend his agitation to 5 states going to polls next year.
अभी जो ये संसद का अधिवेशन खत्म होने के बाद 5 राज्यों में जो इलेक्शन आ रहा है विधानसभा का, तो मैं पहले 5 राज्यों में टूर करूंगा और 5 राज्यों में जनता को बताऊंगा इन बातों को।
Earlier in the day, Team Anna member Arvind Kejriwal also found faults in the government's version of the draft, which leaves the door open for more confrontation.
तो ये किस किस्म की एंटी करप्शन व्यवस्था है, इसके ऊपर देश को गौर करना चाहिए और इससे क्या आम आदमी को फायदा होगा, इस पे गौर करना चाहिए।
Despite Team Anna's loud warnings, the government remained unmoved.
We have a job on our hands and we are trying to do it to the best of our ability. We are not here
to please anyone. We are not here to please everyone. We are here to please our conscience.
With both Team Anna and the government refusing to budge from their stance, coming days could see a repeat of the August crisis. Bureau Report, Times Now.
First question to Shazia tonight is, Shazia, what's the hurry? What's the hurry in announcing that you will go on a fast from December 27th? I mean, you're seeing what's happening in Parliament. I'm sure Team Anna is also seeing what's happening in Parliament. What's the hurry? Why was this comment made today? It's being seen as a threat.
Well, we've seen some reports that have come out of the deliberations on the Standing Committee, and I really think if lower bureaucracy will not be included, it'll be a huge travesty. We've also gotten, we also had reports, and I've seen also in your channel about media being included as well as NGOs. So when the government has a plan in place to check the corruption of 4.5 lakhs lakh of NGOs, how come they are excluding lower bureaucracy? It really seems like a huge travesty, and all Anna is saying is be prepared to go on another agitation. If the draft in question is not going to be effective, is going to be eyewash, if it's going to be fragmented and does not address Aam Aadmi's corruption or corruption that a common person battles with day after day, then Anna is ready for another agitation. And this is the kind of report we have been seeing, you know, the kind of reports have been filtering out after the deliberations of the Standing Committee. So of course we should have, we'll take a final call once we see the draft.
Yeah, but Aman Lekhi, keeping aside the part of the threat that, you know, politics is not by threat, if you look at the pointers of the Lokpal draft bill, Shazia has a point, doesn't she? I mean, near consensus on the exclusion of the Prime Minister, lower bureaucracy to be excluded, judiciary not to be included, bringing in NGOs, which was not thought of earlier, constitutional body. I mean, it appears as if the draft which Anna Hazare team gave has been given pretty much a go-by.
No, Anna Hazare is not to be the only authority to decide what the Lokpal bill should be. In fact, in a democracy, it's open to a contrary point of view to have equal expression. And this is where I think the Anna team repeatedly fails, because the hysteria which they generate, mainly because their point of view is not accepted, is completely alien to any democratic mindset. Now, and so far as the judiciary is concerned, I think while dealing with corruption, no one can in any way ignore that corruption has to be tackled, but we can't go to the other extreme dealing with corruption and bring the judiciary within it, because there's logic and reason behind judiciary being kept out. And it's one of the institutions which has functioned fairly well, notwithstanding what Anna Hazare says. As far as lower bureaucracy is concerned, it's not only a question of numbers. As far as lower bureaucracy is concerned, the sheer volume of complaints which can come, because the people who will be actually confronting the lower bureaucracy would be more or less the same level too. That would in fact stymie the whole governmental process. Now, if it's going to stymie the governmental process whatsoever, the Lokpal bill, far from easing governance in the name of accountability, will in fact handicap it through these mechanisms of complaints.
No, but
now,
you
if you look
take
at
some very...
Team Anna's comments.
Yes.
I think what really if you look at Team Anna's comments, now they are more concerned that the NGOs are going to be covered by it. And they give the examples of NGOs who say the lower bureaucracy should not come in. Now, should actually come in. Now, what is the motive? The motive is to shield NGOs, or for that matter, bring in the lower bureaucracy. Now, why do you equate the lower bureaucraasi with NGOs?
Please include NGOs. Please include the NGOs. Please include media. But ensure that lower bureaucracy is also included.
Very well. Now, if you talk about
don't use this as a thing said that it become unwieldy,
that's not a question. Inclusion or exclusion of NGOs is not the issue.
You have a provision and you can include NGOs as well as media organizations. Why can't include lower bureaucracy?
You are bringing in the Lokpal bill for ease and governance.
1 minute, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time.
We're talking about 57 lakh government employees.
That's the problem with, that is precisely the problem with the Anna team. They refuse to listen to another
Group C and Group D is 57 lakh employees, whereas Group A and B is simply 3 lakhs.
No, it
so
is
why
not about Anna.
have
That's the point I've made.
In the first place when you don't want
that
to check
is the point which is being made.
I
mean, I'm sure they should have sense to and patience to actually listen and understand to a comment which is being made and respond to the comment after it is made. Yes. The point I was making is the sheer numbers and the sheer invitation to make complaints would in fact not only handicap the Lokpal itself in dealing with the complaint, but which will stymie the governmental process itself. So far from improving governance, which is the objective behind Lokpal, it will in fact handicap it.
Okay, now but 1 minute. Let me get in Mayank in. 1 second. Let me get in.
No, Aman, you need to have an anti-corruption staff in place.
1 second.
A system in place.
But 1 second. Let me get Mayank in. Mayank, you know the point. The current record of this Parliament, logjam during the first 7 sittings. Can you expect the opposition to not stall the proceedings of the Parliament when the Lokpal bill comes up for debate? I mean, you have to look at the context of what. So when today Anna Hazare is saying, I am going to sit on a fast from the 27th. Is he rushing things?
Absolutely not. If you call this into a, I think it's a warning. The
warning?
Country, yes, absolutely it is. That the country needs a strong Lokpal bill. It has been committed, the government has committed, the sense of house has committed, the Prime Minister has committed that the lower bureaucracy will come.
So
and if the standing committee does not give the lower bureaucracy, the Honorable Prime Minister will get, I mean, isn't it a betrayal to the country?
No, okay, Kumar Ketkar.
Prime Minister cannot dictate to standing committee.
Absolutely not.
Prime Minister cannot dictate to standing committee. No. Standing committee consists of various parties and various individuals.
Isn't the
Prime Minister can make his own statement, which he made, that he doesn't mind Prime Minister being taken into...
No, it's not about Prime Minister. The sense of the House, the entire Parliament has said that the lower bureaucracy should come in.
Do you mean to say standing committee does not represent the sense of the House?
No, so do you think what happened on that day on Parliament was only a joke?
Nobody is saying that.
There is a complete betrayal of the trust of the people.
At that point, your organization clearly said that you don't want to bypass the standing committee.
No, we don't.
You want to honor the standing committee.
But the Prime Minister said that. The Prime Minister said that this is a resolution by the Parliament that the lower bureaucracy will come. Are you saying that that no longer stands?
You're discussing lower bureaucracy. Let me get Shazia. You want to come in, but I have a question for you. You know, is it about your model or my model, whose model wins, who takes authorship? For example, let me ask you pointedly, Shazia, nothing is taken away, is it? Nothing is taken away from, as far as my limited understanding goes, from the powers and jurisdiction of the Lokpal, if it is given a constitutional status, I think, which is what Rahul Gandhi proposed. Why are you then, why is Team Anna not convinced on that particular argument? Is it about whose model wins?
No, that's fine as long as it's actually not a way to scuttle the debate and delay it, because for it to be a constitutional body, if they propose a constitutional amendment, then they'll need 2/3 majority of the House. Well, they don't even have a simple majority. So we just want to ensure if it's a constitutional body, great. But if it's just being done to delay it, and, it's going to be part of a scuttling tactic.
We have no problem with the constitutional authority, as long as you do it on time during this winter session.
There is still 3 weeks to go, and you already announced 11th December as Dharna Day. So agitation is on.
Yeah,
but why do you jump the gun and say on 27th December you go on fast or something like that?
No, it's a warning. It's an absolute warning.
Warning is there on 11th December.
Yeah.
You are all participating in Dharna.
It's a reminder.
If you want to warn the MPs, then that's a warning, 11th of December.
And
why do you want to jump the gun and say that on 27th December we fast?
If it doesn't happen.
That is not a warning, Mayank. I'm sorry to say that's almost bordering on blackmailing.
No, if you call that blackmailing, I refuse to agree with you. It's a warning. Please pass it during the winter session, as you have promised. If you do not, then we will go on agitation.
But
so it's as simple
Parliament
as that.
is not completely governed by Prime Minister.
No, not Parliament. The Parliament has
the other argument is this. I want to take 2 examples. Time is our enemy tonight. But the other argument is this. Let's take this whole argument that, do you want the job done or do you want it done in your way? Extending that argument, Aman Lekhi, let me bring you in. On bringing in the judges, there is a separate bill, which is the Judicial Standards and Accountability Bill, which comprises all the judges of the apex courts, some 800,000 judges of the high courts, 20,000 judges of the subordinate judiciary are part of this bill. So why should the judiciary be covered by 2 separate authorities?
The judiciary should not be covered by 2 separate authorities, firstly, and secondly, it should not be easy to target the judiciary too. In fact, if you read Kejriwal and Kiran Bedi's comment in the newspaper today, they say that because summons have been issued on a complaint filed against Kiran Bedi, judges should be under the Lokpal bill. Now, if this is going to be the use of the Lokpal bill, that you have inconvenient orders targeted because the persons against whom proceedings are instituted are in some way aggrieved by this, then this is a distortion of the whole objective behind the Lokpal bill. It is for this reason that I am seriously objecting to judges being brought into the Lokpal bill, because then it will unleash a vendetta. And vendetta is something judges have necessarily to be protected against, because judiciary as an institution has in fact over the past 60 years proved itself, and of all the organs of governance, I think judiciary has been most effective. On a balance, there will be rotten apples in every institution, mainly because there are isolated instances everywhere. Does not necessarily mean that you bring the whole judiciary into it.
I'll respond to that.
No, it's a good point. You need to answer, because I think Article 50 of the Indian Constitution specifically seeks the separation of judicial power as a vitally necessary for an independent judiciary in any system, including the Indian system.
So
the separation of powers gets compromised.
No, there is no question that the judiciary has to be independent and autonomous. Nobody is doubting that.
Separation of powers.
Absolutely. What we are saying is, if you were to bring the corruption and the criminal aspect into the judicial accountability bill, we have no problem. But the judicial accountability bill has come, in which it only talks of misconduct of a judge and no corruption and criminality. So if it has not come here, then you put it in Lokpal, or you reframe the judicial accountability bill and put the corruption and criminal aspects there. That's all. Is it anybody's case that there is no corruption?
No, but that means taking action against Kiran Bedi amounts to corruption.
What is Kiran Bedi has got nothing to do with this.
No, of course. Yesterday Arvind Kejriwal said that because the Kiran Bedi action was initiated,
it is just a case.
It's not a case, but he openly said that I am doing contempt of court. If you will. He has very clearly said that this is a proof of influence.
Aman Lekhi.
We've been talking about judiciary.
I just want to respond immediately.
No, but Kiran Kejriwal said yesterday.
Mr. Lekhi.
I just want to respond in so far as the criminality is concerned. In fact, judges are public servants. They are liable to be prosecuted in any case under the existing law. It's not as if there is a void or vacuum in our system. You can proceed against the judges nevertheless. Now, this is the reason why this obsession with the Lokpal bill always amuses and amazes me, because it's not as if there are not enough laws. We have enough laws in this particular country. It's only a question of applying those laws. And the problem with the Team Anna members is that because they are fixated to this particular bill, they want to bring it on record rather than improve the system as it stands. No one is fighting the issue that corruption is in fact to be addressed. But the issue is how is it to be addressed here? And I personally think going overboard, fighting and showing such zealous endeavor is not something which can in fact eventually benefit anyone over here.
And for lower bureaucracy, there is anti-corruption bureau. Anti-corruption squads are there. Why not strengthen them?
I have a feeling all issues are not employees. No, we should not take the draft on the Lokpal bill as the final draft. That's a
3 weeks to go.
That's a simple thing.
3 weeks to go for Parliament.
I think there's opportunity to make changes. But Shazia, I want you to quickly respond to the most recent point of Aman Lekhi.
If it's important, we don't have an anti-corruption system in place. There are 65,000 officials in Delhi police, but there's 15 vigilance officers. And what does the CVC do? CVC has a total staff of 230 members. And with no powers whatsoever. There are laws in place, but there is no system in place. If I need to report an inspector or a police officer or anybody, and I have a case, where do I go? Is there a central body? There is corruption in the income tax department. You need it, so you have it.
And
there
so
is a need for an anti-corruption department, a bureau. So we need to have it.
Well, I think the question is standing committee.
You need to have a better system in place.
The debate in Parliament has not even started. The debate
please understand one thing. You know, we are getting emotionally charged over here, and when you get emotionally charged, our reasonableness gets distorted over here. Now, the very argument Shazia made that, see, we don't have a system in place, we don't have adequate numbers of people to deal with it. If the issues of numbers, you don't need to have another institution. The institutions which are in place can be improved. What is the Lokpal bill?
Would we need an
Aman, you know, the interesting part of this discussion
Aman, if we don't have numbers in place...
The interesting part of this discussion, if I may
why
just
does
on a lighter
propose
vein...
to have media bodies as well as NGOs?
No.
Won't that make this Lokpal institution very unwieldy?
One second. Media receiving donations from public
I think
and
Lokpal
as
an institution is unwieldy.
That's what it's written. Now,
your proposed Lokpal will be.
Now, here's a question. Lokpal draft report also says conduct of MPs inside the House cannot be included. So there are a number of controversial points. We'll see where this goes. We are not taking this in its finality. We'll have to talk in detail to Anna Hazare Times. Now we'll try and contact him to get a sense of what really his plan is. But to all of you, Shazia, to Mayank, to Aman Lekhi, and of course to the respected Kumar Ketkar, thank you very much for joining me on debate number 2. And debate number 3 is very relevant for all our viewers tonight. Because for all the positions that this channel takes on the wrongs that Pakistan does vis-a-vis sponsoring terrorism on our soil, the fact is the manner in which NATO troops have violated Pakistani sovereignty must make us ask the question, how should we respond? Pakistan is today snubbing America. Should we be clapping our hands in glee that both sides are fighting? Or should we look at the ramifications of what has happened in the context of the subcontinent? Back in 2 minutes on Debate 3 on the News Hour tonight.
Samsonite presents the News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
Step out with Samsonite. The model of the modern global airline. An ambitious mission we remind ourselves of all the time. Flying more than ever with a flock of new planes in our fleet. You'll be greeted once you're seated by many captains just like me. Called Earth ground for a reason we're machine